Greetings, automotive enthusiasts. Today we have for you a very special car. This is an 85 Mercedes 500 SEL Euro Spec. These are very rare here in the States, and then finding one in this condition is amazing. This car only has 80,000 miles on it. I'll get you the exact miles when we get inside. But this is a one owner car, completely rust-free car. There's a very cool story with this car. It was bought by an older gentleman. Well, you know, he was not necessarily old when he bought it, but his name was Mr Vickers, and he was a U.S. World War II war hero and a U.S. Foreign diplomat. So this car, he bought it new over in Europe to his specific spec, and then this car kind of toured the world with him. I'll put a link to his obituary in the description, and that way you can kind of read up on it. I won't go into too much detail, but very special car for what appears to be a very special person. So this car is in amazing survivor condition. It's not perfect. We'll show you the few flaws and stuff on it, but it is as nice of an 85 Euro 500, I think, as you're probably gonna find. This car, these were 5-liter V8s. The Euro Spec was quite a bit more horsepower than the US. I believe the horsepower rating on this car was about 247 horsepower. So very, very cool car. Let's kind of get in tight on it here and let's check it out. So I will note on this car, so when I bought this car, when these cars brought over to the United States, they had to put the sealed beam US headlights in it. So when this car came in, it did have the US headlights in it. I had a Euro Spec car in stock in my salvage yard, so we did take the European headlights out and put this back to the correct European spec headlight. So you see it's got the wipers on it. The only thing that we didn't have was we were missing one of the washer nozzles. So you can kind of see that washer nozzle there. So it needs a washer nozzle and maybe a hose or something like that. But got the headlights all hooked up and working, and just absolutely looks amazing with the Euro headlights. This is the way the car would have come from the factory. And then on the Euro Spec, you know, this has the flush mounted bumpers, not the 5-mile-an-hour park bench type bumpers. This one's got the flush mounted bumpers, which looks super clean. So I'll drop a picture in here, and you can kind of show you a picture of what it looked like with the US headlights in it, but I'm sure everybody will agree that the Euro Spec is the way to go. So let's kind of look in on the paint on this car. Let's kind of start with the hood. The hood is absolutely beautiful. The paint on this car, the condition and the color spec is gorgeous. We've got pictures of the car in different lighting environments, and so you can kind of look at the photo gallery to see the car in different lighting. And but I mean, the paint is in really amazing condition. It had a few little scratches and stuff on it when it came in. We had Van Gogh do a paint correction on it, and really just turned out absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's kind of zoom in on the lights here. Oh, just some dust on that park light right there. But the headlights are very nice. Park lights are clean. There's a little bitty rub mark on the front bumper right there. So I'll kind of pan back here. Let's go across the front of the bumper. Couple, there's a few little nicks, paint chips, little minor imperfections. It's a little ding on the chrome right there. See that small little ding? And I'll kind of give you a little view of the bottom of the bumper. Looks clean there. The grille is in nice shape. Water spot there. Very nice shape. The crest is very nice. Usually these are all faded out and everything, but the crest is very nice. Little ding in the little bar right there, but this is really good compared to what most of them look like. You used to be able to buy these kits too, the little bar kits. I assume you could probably still buy those. There's dings, because they're aluminum, so they're really light and really thin. That's got a couple little dents in it. But yeah, so be cool to, the insert looks pretty good, just got a few little dents on the little bars. Let's go over here to the right side. Here is our right headlight and the marker light. You can see that that is good. Really no notable flaws on the hood as I kind of panned over that. Okay, you'll see in the picture gallery, so when I got the car in, it had chrome little overriders on the fenders. So I knew everybody would be concerned that they were trying to hide something like rust or anything. And I was kind of actually a little bit concerned about taking them off. I thought, well, I don't know how long they've been on the car, and I thought they might have scratched the paint. But if you can see here, the arches are really nice. So we'll include those chrome arches with the car. We'll put them in the trunk, but I'm not gonna put those back on because it's really, this is the way it came from the factory. And then we put brand new hand-cooked tires on it. The tires were good that came in on the car, but they were old. So I think this car probably set for the last few years of his life. I don't think he drove it much. There's the wheels. We will get this car up on the lift and let you take a look underneath of the car. There's a little mark right here on the fender. If I can show it to you. There, you can kind of see it in that GTO by the headlight. Little bitty scuff mark or something. Pretty minor. See if I come back. You don't really notice it unless you're really, really looking in at it and looking hard on it. Molding's nice. Chrome trim is nice. The mirror is in good shape. Not a lot of, one little pit there, but very clean. Here's the windshield. Slight wiper mark on the windshield, and some pitting to the windshield that you'd expect. This is, guessing this is probably the original windshield. Looks like we're missing a little, no, we're not missing it. It's just slid over. There we go. Yeah, I'll lock that in. It just slides in and covers. I can see from here, we got one small little crack on top of the dash from that speaker corner. If anybody of you know Mercedes, you'll know that blue dashes are notorious for completely cracking up. It was something with the way the die acted with the plastic, but blue dashes are usually absolutely destroyed. To have one little small crack like that is pretty amazing. On blue dashes, it's a kind of a weird thing. Here is the front door. Very nice. No flaws. The molding is nice. The bright trim is nice. Looking at the rear door, there is one tiny little crease. You can kind of see that little black car in the background. That would PDR really easily. And then also right here, so something must have bumped it a little bit right here. And you'll see this molding has got a dent in the molding. And then it's very slight, but there's a small indenture with the door. So what you would do is pull the door panel off, PDR the door, and then replace that. I don't think you'd have to replace the molding, probably just the little aluminum trim piece on the molding. And you could make this door 100%, which is a little PDR work, without doing any paint work or anything. Looking along the top moldings, all this is aluminum. So there are little bitty nicks and scratches. Very common. It's very, very soft. And that's just kind of the par for the course there. All right, looking along the roof here on the edge, you can see there's a little mark in the paint right there. And I can kind of feel it. So it's scratched, beyond what you could polish out. It's somebody has chipped and nicked the paint there. The rest of the roof looks really nice. There's one little spot right here. I don't know what that is, if that was a bird dropping or something like that. I'm not sure if that would come out or not. Since they polished this car, I'm gonna say that probably is not going to come out. Since they did polish the car, I don't wanna give any false impressions here. couple little nicks on the roof, little paint nicks, but otherwise, I mean, considering the age and miles of this car, it's really, really nice. You can kind of get a look at that metal flake in there too. Looks really pretty. All right, look at the back wheel here. Like I said, these tires are brand new. Not a lot, I mean, the hand-cooked was the best tire I could find for it. I've got a wholesale con with NTW, and they didn't show Michelin's available. The best tire I could find was this hand-cooked, which is a good tire. That Kenner GST is a nice touring tire, and it drives really wonderful. I drive it all the time. This wheel does have various nicks and scratches in the wheel. Kind of see from the video there. A little inside of the wheel well, just for the heck of it. And then here's the wheel arch again. There's no signs of damage on that wheel arch. There's gonna be a couple, little bitty screw holes. See right there, on every fender that held that arch in. So there is a tiny little screw hole, but it's not gonna be really a problem. Actually, it could help, really. If anything, it could help with some drainage. So I don't see where that's gonna be any issue to the car. There's the rear bumper end. Little bitty scuff on the bumper right there. That could be airbrushed and touched up there. That is a paint scuff through the bumper. Quarter panel looks nice. One tiny little ding right there. You can see right there on the edge of the corner. Right there. The one thing that doesn't work on this car is the power antenna. We took the antenna out at the shop. We had one, another used one, but it wasn't the right one. We've got the original one that has the chrome top on it. And we do not have a good power antenna for it at the moment. Radio plays and everything, but the antenna does not work. So we'll put the original one back in, but that's what you're seeing there with the antenna. Back glass looks nice, no delamination of it or anything. It's got the heated element in it. Look around the deck lid here. The deck lid is very nice. Little nick, looks like maybe a touched up little nick on the quarter panel there. Looking up on the back edge. There were some scratches behind the emblem. So Van Gogh pulled the emblem off and polished it. And you can see where there was a scratch, but when they polished it, it really polished out nice. So you can kind of still see the scratch, but you don't see the chalky looking deal. If you look at the photos of when it had the chrome moldings on it, we didn't have it polished at that time, so you'll kind of get a sense of what it looked like there. A little scratch there on that molding. Again, it's aluminum, so always a common thing. Taillight, it's in good condition. Don't see any flaws on the taillight. Looking at the right taillight, again, very nice. A little rub mark on the corner right there of the bumper. The end looks good. Chrome looks really good on the bumper back here, which is amazing because it seems like these always had dents in them from being bumped. A couple little marks in the bumper, but very clean. Very nice. Coming over here to the right side. You can hardly, no, that's not even a thing. Right quarter panel is very good. Sail panel is nice. Love that blue color. Wheels, they have just the normal imperfections and rashes. You could take the wheels and have them refinished if you wanted to. This car could be made to be, show quality with just a little more recon, a little more touch up. Like recondition the wheels and stuff like that. But I'm guessing somebody who buys this car is going to enjoy it and drive it. Scratch there on the roof. On the rail looks good. Very rare option, the 500 SEL with no sunroof. I prefer that. I mean, we never use sunroofs, and all they do is cause places for water to leak and wind noise. So I'm a no sunroof kind of guy, and this is really cool. I actually have an 82 Euro AMG, a real AMG 500 SE 82 that I'm the second owner of. And so I have a special place in my heart for these cars. That's why I bought this car, actually. I've had it for a little while. I've been driving it, but time to move it on to its next owner. Looking at the right rear door. Very nice. I don't see any major issues. The molding looks good. Looks like there might be a little mark right there where that Mustang is. Little, kind of just a door mark where it's kind of scratch rubbed the paint. Looks like there might be a little scratch under the handle right there. Another little tiny scratch right there. Looking at the front door. Very nice on the front door. The molding is very nice. Right fender. Little paint chip right here. Kind of see a paint chip right there. A couple little chips. That's just some dust right there. See that? But there are a couple little bitty chips. Mirror face is very nice. So this is kind of cool here. I'm leaving those stickers on there. It's kind of neat. I like seeing that kind of stuff. Looking across the top of the fender, there's a few little nicks and scratches on top of the fender. Very nice. And then here's the front wheel. The rear wheels always get the worst of it because the debris that flies backwards hits the rear wheel. Let's go ahead and take a tour under the hood. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and fire this up and do a quick little cold start. Go ahead and fire it up. A little fuel there. I'll go ahead and pop the hood and let you hear it underneath the hood. Use two hands here. All right, we got it fired up underneath the hood. Got the engine running here. Absolutely runs perfect. Very quiet. This car has the optional anti-lock brakes on it. Ignition box. AC blows ice cold. I'm guessing it's like the radiator's probably been replaced at some point in time. It looks pretty fresh. But just underneath the hood, I mean, all the gold anodizing is still there. It's just really a time capsule. Even the factory smog pump is working. Or I say factory, that was something that was added for U.S. emissions. Here's a little sticker there. But even the smog pump, the American cars had one from the factory, but it had to be added to the gray market car. Got a nice interstate battery in it. Go ahead and rev it up a little bit. Yeah, I'll show you the exhaust and I'll do the same thing there. Okay, go ahead and rev it up. Runs absolutely perfect. All right, before we do the interior here real quick, I wanted to give you a quick little paint meter reading here. So we'll just go all the way around the car on every panel and show you the paint meter readings. Interesting. The hood and deck lid are higher readings. That's kind of interesting. I'm wondering if they must paint those separately. Huh. I don't know, hard to say. Yeah, so it must go through with the shell of the car and get painted, and then the hood and deck lid maybe get put on afterwards. Who knows? All right, let's go ahead and look at the interior. We'll start with the trunk and then move inside. All right, let's pop the trunk of this beautiful W126. All righty. So here we are inside, and it's pretty much all original. And something too, I like to leave things with cars that kind of come with cars. So like here's a little paper. This is his little tissues. It's just kind of like his little travel pack. I don't know. I just, Eddie Bauer. I just thought it was neat. It came with the car. So for whatever it is, for whatever reason, I just leave it with the car. Plastic bag there. And we'll show you in well, there is good. Okay, the trunk carpet is nice. It does have the safety triangle still installed. See, underneath the paint is fantastic. All right. Molding is good on top. Oh, I say that, there's a little crack out of it right here. A little piece broken. I might have one in the yard, salvage yard there. Yeah, I probably won't change it because the German writing, unless I've got a European one. I might have a European one, but anyway, just make a note that that is broke. If it gets changed, that's just bonus, but just assume that it'll be broke. We've got the original spare in here, still has the Cosmoline on it. It is deflated. There is the jack. There's a little vacuum pump from the factory. That wheel there looks nice. It looks like the tires. I wouldn't think it's original because I wouldn't think this car came with the Yokohama, but nonetheless, there is the spare tire. Okay, let's take a peek on the inside here. This is where it gets really cool. So I'm gonna open the door and let you behold blue velour interior. What's interesting, I've been doing some studying on this, and I think that this velour interior is actually an upgrade. It kind of seems doesn't make a lot of sense, but I was doing some studying on it, and that's something that I read, that was actually an upgrade on the interior. I'll let you guys do your own research and determine that to be true or factual or fiction. Now this is really cool right here. I want to show you this. Okay, so this is where he bought the car and imported it. But you'll see that it has his name, and pictures will probably make this a little bit better, to read it a little bit better. So it's the plastic over it. I don't want to pull it off though. But yeah, anyway, it has his name right here, Harold Vickers. This was his car, built for him. That's really cool that he special ordered this car. There's in the jams. And I was looking at the door panel, there's no flaws on the door panel, even the wood, there's not even any cracks. I didn't comment on it, so I figured I better touch base with you on that. Here is the velour seat. The lighting kind of makes it look kind of funny, but it is in really good condition. I have the light on my phone, so it's kind of fighting the phone light and the natural light. Very, very light wear on the corduroy right there. I'm gonna call it corduroy. I don't know what the technical term for it is, but that's what I'm gonna call it. Looking at the floorboard of the car, the carpets are pretty much pristine. There's our pedals. Looks like my foot was wet when I got it in there, but you'll see that there's very minimal wear on the brake pad, which kind of helps authenticate the mileage, although it's a 1,000,000 mile speedometer, so not like there's any question there. There's a little service sticker from some time past. And these steering wheels, if you know these cars, they're always wore down, and then the foam starts to break down from the metal rod behind it. This is the nicest steering wheel I've ever seen. Nowhere. They literally wear it down to the wire metal rim, but you can check that out. Steering wheel is nice, and the center is nice. There's a little knee bolster, carpet, console carpet. I'm gonna slide in here. Okay, here is our instruments. I'm gonna go ahead and close the door so the buzzer doesn't scream at us. Listen to this. Like a bank vault. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and put the key in and fire it up. It just fires right off. No lights. Absolutely runs perfect. Oil pressure's pegged. I've driven this car several hundred miles, and it just drives wonderful. The gauges are nice and orange. They're not sun faded, which that's always a thing. The bezel's not cracked. And we'll have pictures that, you know, you can kind of, sometimes a video does good and sometimes a picture does good. Here's our control for the vacuum adjustment on the Euro lights. There's our headlights. Cruise control is in op. The brain boxes on these are notorious for failing. You can get reman ones or send them in and get them rebuilt, but if I had 10 used cruise brain boxes, I might find one good one out of 10 used ones, and that was back in the day. I don't have them like that anymore. So here's our climate control. Okay, you probably didn't hear it, but you can hear the compressor kick in and the RPM adjust. Here's our radio. Turn it up a little bit. Okay, turn it down so we don't have any copyright. Little Joan Jett playing there. Air just kicked in, blowing nice and cold. In the pictures, you'll notice that there was a little disc here, and you looked at it and you're like, and it looked kind of weird, but that was just an adhesive circle. They had some, like, probably a little clock or a little compass or some little thing right here, and so there was an adhesive circle, and we took a little WD-40 and got that adhesive off. Ooh, it's getting cold. I'm gonna turn it off there. Turn the radio down. And all of the wood is really nice. Not sure what this little sticker and this number means. I just left it there. I'm not sure what it means, but interesting, and maybe somebody figured it out. Maybe it's significant in some way, so I just left it on there. Even our center console is good. Looks like somebody ran a screw right here to hold it down, because sometimes there's a plastic tab here and they want to come loose, and then it wants to pop up at the back. I never even really noticed that until now, but there's a little screw to hold it down. It is what it is. Take a look at the dash. Here's another view of that crack. Otherwise, very nice indeed. Come across the front of the wood, and yeah, I mean, most of the time this wood is always cracked up. This has the nice burl wood. Very nice little chip right there in the laminate, but otherwise, very nice shape. You'll even see that the shifter knob doesn't, even those break down. Here's the center armrest, and it is pretty much immaculate. Then a little cubby hole underneath of it. All right, I'll go ahead and shut it off, and we'll go around to the other side. Go ahead and peek at the back here while we're moving that way. It does have kind of a dark tint on it. He lived in New Mexico, so you know, it gets really hot there, so it does have a dark tint on it. That could be changed if you don't like it, but I'm gonna leave it. Rear door is very nice. No flaws or issues on the door. Rear carpets, pretty much immaculate. That's just a little bug or something over there. Even the netting there on the back of the seats is nice and tight. Wow, usually it's all sagging down. And then I'm gonna show you too, the headliner is spotless. No issues at all with the headliner. And the seats just, it's hard to explain the feel of these velour seats. And the nice thing about it is it's cool in the summer and warm in the winter, and you don't slide around on it. So it was kind of an interesting design with the Mercedes there. And I'll go around the other side so you can see the back deck. Look, you can see there's no damage to the back deck. These are usually faded out and looking pretty bad. And even the trim around it, it's very nice. I'll go on the other side. I'll go ahead and pop the center armrest down for you. It's grippy, that velour is so grippy. There we go. The car smells like a 1985 Mercedes in the showroom, FYI. I mean, I'm always very keen to smell of a car. It's really, it's hard to explain it. The smell of a car really says a lot about the car. This thing literally smells showroom. Has a different smell to it with the horsehair padding and velour, and it just has a different smell to it, but it's a really cool aroma. Rear door panel is perfect. This car doesn't ever appear to have been smoked in. There's no signs of smoking. And we'll make our way to the front. And here is the front door. Again, I mean, I can't believe they're not even, I mean, there's always little hairline cracks in that, and that would be good. But no, not in this case. This car has been preserved very, very well. Here's the passenger seat. I'll zoom in here on the bolsters, and they're really nice on the passenger side. Doesn't look like he had many passengers. Looks like this is just a car he probably drove solo mostly, from the looks of it. Carpets are perfect. Glove box. This paper. Glove box is nice. Not sure what that number is. I don't think it's a code radio or anything, but it is what it is. Mirror is very nice also. Overhead, let's go ahead and take a peek. Forgot to show you the header panel, because sometimes these are in bad shape and the vinyl's peeling. I cannot believe the condition of this car. Wow, every one of these cars, this door is broken. The pins on the side brake. Not in this case. Dome light works, got our little center visor. And are we 2 for 2? Oh, 2 for 2 on the visors. These are very expensive to find visors for these cars. Very hard to find, and if you find good ones, I sold them. I've always sold them for quite a bit of money. 7,500 bucks a piece for nice ones. All right, so let's do this next. Before we go for a spin, we'll go ahead and put it up on the lift and let you check out underneath. All right, we got the 500 SEL up on the lift here. Kind of just do a little tour of underneath. Here's the bumper underneath. Looks really nice. Sometimes these get all warped and everything. This one looks really clean. Can't really see these angles underneath the car. And then here is in the tire well. It's a little bit dirty. I've been driving the car, but you can see the wheel wells. Absolutely pristine in the wheel wells. Looking down the rockers. Underneath. Everything is nice on the rockers. Front wheel wells, here's the wheel arch. See the little bitty holes there. Tiny little holes from the moldings, not an issue. Look at all the control arms are nice, bushings, boots are nice. Underneath of the bumper. Nice and clean under the bumper. Wow, usually scraped up. I mean, I'd expect it, but don't see anything there. Wheel well, driver's front, and the wheel arch. Again, I've been driving it, so it's a little bit dusty. I didn't get under here and pressure wash it or anything. Just how we've been driving it. Looking down the passenger side, driver's side, I'm sorry. All right, that's kind of the perimeter. And this cleans off. See right here, see? Just, they kind of polished to the edge, but they didn't get underneath of that, but you can see right there, it's fine. And you can see the wheel wells. Zero rust on this car. All right, so let's kind of do an underneath tour here. Here is the spare tire well. A lot of times these get dented. I don't see any damage there. And then we'll kind of look up in the frame. There's the rear tail panel and the body. You can see there's no damage there. This is underneath the left quarter panel. Dusty, you can see the frame rails there. We'll look at the right quarter well and the frame well. Here's our fuel pump assembly, filter and accumulator. A little dusty and dirty from use, but as you can see, no issues. Boots look good. Like I said, there's no clunking, no suspension issues. Rear cover, a little bit of sweating from the rear cover, not leaking or anything. There's no drops. On the exhaust, we did replace the rear muffler. I had a good one in the yard, so we just took a good used muffler. It had a section right here that had some rust pinholes. So we replaced this section, but then they noticed also that the rear muffler had some holes in it too. So we replaced the rear muffler, then they kind of spliced it into the factory system right here. And then they replaced a couple of pipes right here. See, because this converter and stuff, see this exhaust was not Mercedes exhaust, because it, you know, when it federalized the car, this car did not have converters, so it was US. So this is a US federalized car. It has cats on it and everything. But this is not a Mercedes exhaust. Well, probably part of it is. I mean, here's the resonators here. So they basically did essentially what we did. I mean, they spliced in pieces and everything, and so the pieces that they spliced in were not probably as good as the quality of the galvanized as the factory Mercedes stuff. So that's why you're seeing a little bit of splicing on the exhaust. Looking at the floor pan on the driver's side, kind of just pan down here. No issues whatsoever. Panning down on the passenger pan. No pan intended. But you get the point though. I mean, this car is rust free, dry on the transmission pan. Flux coupler looks good. The donut is good too, because I don't get any, when that center carrier support goes bad, you hear the drive shaft go bump, 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 but none of that. Transmission pan is good. Rear main, front tranny seal, not leaking, so that is good. Clean on the block. Like I say, we have not done anything under here. Suspension and shocks are good. Same on the passenger side. Now this car has a rare option here. This is a factory optioned skid plate. So this car had a special suspension package to where it was set up because, set up for, maybe to go to Africa or something like that where the roads are bad. So you'll notice this car sets a tad bit higher, but that can be changed. You see these spring pads right there? You see those 3 dots? They sell those in 1 dot, 2 dot, and 3 dot. Now what those are spring rubber pads, and you change those to adjust the ride height of the car. So you could take this car and put 1 dot. It has the 3 dots because it has the off-road, that's for the off-road package or whatever you want to call it. It raised the car up a little bit, and then they put this skid plate on there. But you could put 1 dot rubber isolators or rubber spring mounts, and it will actually lower. Then that's how you can adjust the ride height of the car. Many people don't know that. See, again, we've got the 3 dots. So that's something that I learned a long time ago. A lot of people probably don't know about that. So there's a little trivia clue. If you ever wondered, you probably never thought there was different spring pads with the dots indicating the thickness. There's the back side of the bumper, back side of the engine. You see the block is clean. I mean, there's really nothing to note. The only thing I did notice here is this transmission line is seeping a little bit, and these are about $15 a piece. They're not expensive. We get a chance, we might throw some on there, but it's not really a main deal. But just unbolts right there, little suspension line transmission cooler line. So usually change those in pairs. But I'm selling it, this is as it is as you're seeing it, so assume that you have to change it. Here's your frame rail on your left side, and you can see that this car is untouched. And the passenger frame rail. And the front main is dry. So, very good dry car. So there is the tour of the underneath. All right, we're strapped into the Mercedes here. Let's go ahead and take off and take it for a spin. There are no rattles, no clunks. It just absolutely drives completely original factory. Got a little bit of temperature warmed up in it now. So we'll go ahead and get it up on the highway here, and then we'll get off and tootle around town a little bit. We're gonna get some more glamour shots of it while we're out. Update some of the shots there with the moldings off and get some nice close-up pictures of little flaws and stuff. So you can have video and pictures. Get a little sun in our eyes here. Visor. As far as mechanical issues on this car, I pointed out that the cruise control doesn't work and the power antenna doesn't work. Those are really two things that don't work. Actually, I'm looking at the clock right now. It's a little after 7. I'll double check and see. Actually, I think the clock might even be right. So I'll look at the clock again here in a few minutes and see if it's moving here. Give it some gas. Thing revved about $6 grand. Very nice. Here's our big famous bump here. A little smoother in this Mercedes. Yeah, the ride of one of these 126s, in my opinion, this is the kind of the pinnacle of the old school Mercedes. It's really kind of the best of the last of the old. This is the reliable. Hear the V8 rumbling there. But the 140 that followed this, technologically, really took a huge step. But with that technological jump came a lot of issues and problems. I love the 140 chassis, and from a design standpoint, it was probably, this is like the most reliable and kind of basic, fundamental car. And then the 140 was probably one of the most technologically advanced cars for its time. And then it was so expensive to design, they actually dumbed them down with the next generation, and kind of really, Mercedes was really kind of scrambling a little bit at that point, trying to figure out how to compete. But the 126 is really the last of the old school. And there's a lot of these cars still on the road, and so many different engine configurations, from diesels to V8s to 6-cylinders, everything you could possibly imagine. These cars have done service duty all over the world. When you think of 80s, you just think of the 126. This is an 80s icon for sure. It came out, I think the Euro 126 came out, and so the 116 ended in 1980, but in Europe you could get, the cars came out a year before they did in the States. But 81 to basically 91 is the reign of the 126 chassis. Car just rides super fantastic. And the clock is working. We're several minutes ahead of when I last looked at it, so everything on the gauges is working. The fuel, temperature, oil pressure, odometer, clock, tachometer, everything. Like I said, the climate control works, radio, all the windows work. Just got a couple little issues and some cosmetics. Just kind of nice to show you some of the, along for a ride. There's our horn. Watch out there, guy on the scooter. Pull in here. So I hope you enjoyed this tour of this iconic Mercedes. It's a very special car. This car is going to be auctioned off on Bring a Trailer at no reserve. So it's a very special car. We want to put on there for no reserve. We got confidence that it will find the right home. And so we're really excited to meet its next owner. I hope to get to meet that person in person. And appreciate you guys riding along. Always look us up, EuroAsianAuto.com, Euro Asian Auto on Facebook. Click and like the video, and click on the subscription there to subscribe. That way you get notifications when we get new cars in, because you never know when we might find your next dream car. Have a great day and happy motoring.